Alright, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for clicking on the video. It has been a minute since I posted anything last. Right at the end of 2019, my wife was diagnosed with cancer, a really aggressive breast cancer. So as if 2020 didn't suck enough, we were dealing with 2 children under 4, a chemotherapy and surgery and all kinds of stuff like that associated with the cancer. But we're all good now. The doctors have given her a clean bill of health, no evidence of disease. So we're going to move forward. We're going to start living our lives again and hopefully getting back into the things that make life worth living. For me, that is running my Etsy shop and CNC and all that kind of stuff. So if you haven't already watched the other videos in this Fusion 360 cabinet series, I encourage you to go back. They're a little long, but I think they're pretty informative and really dive deep into how to design a kitchen cabinet parametrically in Fusion 360. So this is the video that I've been waiting for, the video I think everyone's been waiting for. We're going to make some chips. So there won't be much how-to in this video. This is really just going to be some gratuitous close-up CNC router action. So I hope you enjoy it. Hopefully by the end of it I will have the cabinet built. This is actually 3 cabinets, 3 different layers. I'll put up a thumbnail of what it's going to look like of the Fusion rendering with some bookshelves on top of it. And it's going to be a built-in for our dining room area. So hopefully it serves its purpose and you like the video. So let's get going. Melamine is so heavy. I really wish I had those little pop-up dowels that some fancier machines have. You pop them up and just slam the sheet into the corner and you're good to go. I gotta get her all lined up here with my vacuum plenum. I feel. I'll be using a focus. I'll be using a 1/4-inch compression end mill from Whiteside Tooling. I don't know what their name is, but it's Whiteside. I really like them. They're pretty sharp. They stay sharp for a long time. I've only used this one a couple of times, but I've never cut melamine before on my machine. I hear it's like filled with sand. Some people complain, so hopefully I'll be able to cut everything with one bit. But that's what I'm going to use. It's a compression bit. I didn't want to be doing a bunch of excessive tool changes. If I was just carving in it, because there's pockets and dados and stuff in the cabinets, I'd use a down cut bit, but all the cuts are going to be deeper than the up cut portion of the bit, so I'm not really worried about too much tear out. right, day 2 of the built-in dining room kitchen cabinet project with bookshelves. I was having a lot of trouble with the smaller parts moving around under the loads of the cutter, and I think part of my problem was my spoil board was pretty well worn out. So with all those little cuts and grooves in it, everywhere there's a groove, there's less surface area for the vacuum to act on the melamine to hold it down, and that melamine's so slippery, I think I just didn't have enough surface area to create enough friction for it to not move around. So I went ahead and I spoiled the spoil board. Rather, I surfaced the spoil board. So I got one more sheet of 3/4 inch melamine to cut, and then we're going to be on to the 1/2 inch, which is going to be the drawers and all of that. So everything's going to be built out of melamine. We'll see how they weather. If I have to go back later on and build actual solid wood drawers, I can always do that at a later date. But let's get going. Sheet number 3. Sheet 3. after surfacing that spoil board, I had a lot more surface area for the smaller, for these smaller pieces to sit. Before, like I said, with all the squigglies from all the other stuff I cut, there just wasn't, it was like a bed of pins. It wasn't enough surface area to hold that down, so that went much better. So, we're all done with the carcasses, the nailers, the top stretchers, all that is done already. Next thing we gotta do is move on to the 1/2-inch boards. That should be the drawers, and then a few cuts of 1/4-inch melamine for the back panels, and we'll go on to MDF doors and drawer fronts. All right, let's keep going. All right, I'm really pleased with how fast this project is going. This is the first sheet of 1/2-inch. Cutting it out, I'm sure it's the fastest thing. I could just sit there and watch the machine. I'm gonna have to edge band everything that's gonna be visible and clean all that up. That's gonna take a while, especially with all the drawers. The side panels, everything's gonna have to be edge banded so you can't see it. At least on the top, anyway. So when you're looking down, I don't know if I'll edge band the bottom of the drawers. I don't think I'm going to spend much time on my back in the kitchen, usually. So, and then the front will be hidden by the drawer front. So we'll see how much edge banding I have the motivation to do. And to assemble it, I'm going to be using a construction adhesive. My dados are not quite as tight as I would have liked. So when I measured all the material and put that into Fusion 360, I measured it slightly loose because I didn't want to be having to hammer it in there and chipping the melamine off. So I measured it, you know, I didn't really pinch the calipers real tight. I measured it kind of loose. And I think what happened is this material has been sitting here for over a year. It was before, I'm in the Midwest, so I bought it before Menards made you put a mask on. So it's been sitting there for a while, so a lot of times what happens, you know, that's all 4 seasons that it sat through here, and my shop is not, my shop's only heated when I'm in it. So the edges will absorb the water. All the exposed grain of the plywood or the particle board or whatever is going to absorb a little water and expand just a little bit, and I think that must be what happened, because none of my dados are quite as tight as I want. Anyway, I'm going to use construction adhesive to glue it all together in addition to screws or nails or whatever I decide to go with. And that construction adhesive should help fill the gap. So, and you won't see it, it's inside the dado, it'll be fine. So moving on, 1/2-inch sheet, I got 3 of these to go. That's all the drawers, and then a couple of quick 1/4-inch sheets, and all the cutting for this is done, and it will go on to assembly. All right, moving on. So my drawer box construction, the drawers are actually pretty big. So this is the front of one of the No, yeah.
Is that right?
No, this is the side of one of the drawers, I should say. This is the drawer bottom, so you can see why I wanted to make it out of a thicker material. This is one of the drawers, so it's 30 something odd inches wide. So that's just one, that's going to be one big drawer on the top and then the cabinet underneath it. So I think it's going to look good. I just did a half a date, or I should say a rabbit. And so there's going to get the, like I said, the construction adhesive there. Can you see that? Yeah, so that'll just go on there with the construction adhesive. And then probably some screws along the side or pin nails or something. You're going to see it. You're going to see it when the drawer is open, but I'm not overly concerned about it. You know, the vast majority of the time the drawers are closed, so I think it's going to look good. So, 2 more sheets of half-inch. Alright, sheet 2 of the half-inch material. 1 more to go. We're pounding it out. We're moving fast. We're cutting this at about 450 inches a minute. That white side compression router bit that I got is it's just working out great. The edges are perfect. There's no tear out. Really happy with it. I've been using that bit for a long time. I just wasn't sure how it was going to work on the melamine. Really very happy with it. So at what did I say? It's at 400 or 450 inches a minute, I don't remember. Single pass, just ripping through it. Very happy, so we're moving fast. So here we go. Sheet 2, get the vacuum, the dust collector on, the vacuum table on, and we're gonna rip. Sheet a half-inch, just a quick one, just a few parts out of it, and I'll have a remnant for something else. Here we go. Done. And then we're going to be out of assembly. We'll mock one up here right away so we can see how it's all going to fit together and hopefully how we want it. And then we'll get to edge banding. We'll glue and nail it all together or screw and get it installed in the house, alright? Alright, last sheet. It's the only sheet of 1/4 inch I got to cut for 3 backs for the 3 cabinets. We're going to get this knocked out. I mean, we're talking seconds, and we're going to get into assembling. Hopefully it fits together. I got a lot of parts on the ground and I don't know if it's all gonna go just how I have it in my head, and we'll find out. All right, keep going. Only a couple of bad parts I'm going to have to recut. Maybe. I think I could probably save them. They're just nailers or stringers along the top or something. So I think they're going to be fine. I'm missing one part on that first sheet of 3/4. I was having issues with sliding around a little bit. My machining quarter wasn't quite right, so I missed one whole part, so I'll have to cut that. I think it might be easier just to run it on a table saw with some of the remnants I have here. So the next step is going to be mocking one of these up, seeing how it looks, making sure I'm happy with it, edge banding everything, final assembly on everything, MDF door fronts and doors, painting those and getting this thing all wrapped up. So I've already got everything, so we're gonna get this put together here real quick, all right? All right, so here we got it all mocked up. There's no glue, no nails, nothing holding it together, just the pressure of the fit. Everything looks to go together pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. It's a lot bigger. You know, when you're working on the computer, you don't really have a sense for scale. You know, you can look at proportions and think, oh, that looks right, but this is going the full width of my dining room. You know, my dining room is long and skinny, so this is the full width of the dining room. There's a window right here. That's why this center cabinet is a little bit lower, so that countertop is going to fit there just underneath the window trim. And then up here, they'll fit, you know, right on the sides of the window trim. And so then there's going to be bookcases that go on top of that too. So really happy with what I got going so far. Now it's time to get them all glued up and assembled, get all the nailers on. You know, that's just the big carcass parts. I still got a lot of parts here to assemble. These are all the nailers and stringers for the countertop supports that go along the top, as well as the nailers that go along the bottom, along the back side. So just to give you an idea of how that's going to look, you know, it's all parametrically modeled, so I knew that this board was going to be a 1/2 inch, so it automatically adjusted the back end a 1/2 inch, and so that's going to get just all glued in there, and the same on the bottom, going to get glued in, and that's going to work good because that's going to push this back into location. So I'll make sure I assemble it with all the bows and the curves. And I'll keep in mind where they are, so when I assemble it, it's going to push all that out. And there you go. So, pretty happy with it. So let's get to assembly and edge banding. All right, very good. Keep on going.